Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. In this video today, I'm going to be teaching you guys how you can use your own stats to get better at League and also climb some more ELO. We're going to be taking a look at this guy named I'm Mr. Lonely. He's watching a lot of my videos and he's coming down to my stream a lot, so he's going to be the lucky guy for today's video. Anyway, when taking a look at your own OPGG or your own stats, you want to be taking a look at the amount of ranked games that you have currently played. You also want to be taking a look at all of the champions that you have currently played so far. You also want to be taking a look at the CS per minute with the KDA. And then there's very small important things like the kill participation. This is very important. And then there's also other things such as the runes and the build that you are going for, as well as summoners and all of that stuff. We'll get in all of that stuff later on. But anyway, so the first thing that you want to be taking a look at before you get into anything else is the ranked games that you have currently played so far. So this guy has about 200 ranked games being played and the season has been out for a couple of months right now. One thing that you guys gotta understand is that in the challenger level, in the challenger ranked, people have already played about 400 to 500 games already. So this guy having about 200 ranked games is not really that much. Let's say that you have a teammate who's playing Riven in the top lane and he has already played about 1,000 games so far in the current season. And then in the enemy team you have somebody in the top lane playing Aurelia and he has about 200 ranked games being played so far. Who do you think is going to be better in the top lane? Is it going to be the guy who just played like 1,000 games so far and he has already played the matchup like a multiple of times? Or is that going to be the Aurelia player who has only played about 200 ranked games and he might not even have played this matchup at all? So I think it's pretty obvious who's going to win the 1v1 because the guy which has played over 1,000 games is a lot more warmed up than the Aurelia player is, and he's got a lot more experience in the matchup than the Aurelia player would ever have. This is what makes the difference between a challenger player and somebody who's a gold or silver player, because those people which are silver players, they don't really play ranked that much, while the challenger players, they play like 2,000 ranked games in only one season. This is what makes the difference. So Mr. Lonely, you gotta start playing more ranked games if you are willing to improve in the game. Anyway, the next thing that we are going to be taking a look at is the champion pool. So once again, this guy has about 200 ranked games and he has about 90 Riven games currently being played. Why does this guy have so many champions currently being played? He doesn't even need to play all of those champions. This will only drag him down. So basically, the trick behind getting better at League of Legends is to try and stick to only a few champions in the game. This will allow you to understand the matchups a lot faster than anybody else could, because if you're going to play like 1,000 champions in a row, you gotta try and understand every single matchup with all of those champions, and that simply is not going to work. It's going to take a lot of time and you will not get anywhere. Like literally, if you go to the list of this guy, he has already played about 30 champions, when if you actually took all of those games, all of those champions into only Riven, you would have already been able to understand so much more about the champion and so much more about the mechanics and the matchups. You could have made the process so much faster, but you didn't because you played like 1,000 other champions, which you didn't necessarily have to. So once again, stick yourself to only one champion, and if you don't get to play your champion, just dodge the game. So the next thing that we are going to be taking a look at is the CS per minute. So this guy is about a gold 4 player and he has played about 90 Riven games and he currently has a 5.2 CS per minute. So I just want to make this clear that if you are playing in a gold 4 game, people don't really know how to abuse each other in a matchup. People are willing to counter each other, but they don't actually know how to play the matchup. So the thing is, if you are playing in gold 4 ELO, you can easily manage a 10 CS per minute. At least, if I play in a gold game myself, I will always get a 10 CS per minute because the matchup is just way too easy. They don't know how to play it, so it's very easy to farm it up. But if you're playing in a challenger game, it's very hard to get a very good CS like 10 CS per minute, because let's say that you are playing Riven against Urgot. People actually know very well how to play the matchup in high elo, so they're going to abuse that and they're going to make you lose a lot of CS. But then once again, in the lower elo like gold, you can easily manage a 10 CS per minute. So this guy has an absolute bad farm right now. He's gotta try and improve and get better at CSing because this is not very good. So the next thing that we want to be taking a look at is the KDA. So this guy has about 90 games being played and he's got about 7.2 kills on average per game. This is very good because this actually means that he's kind of snowballing in his games on average. But the one thing that makes it very bad is that this guy has a 6.5 deaths on average per game. This is not very good. This actually means that he's often throwing his lead away and he might be getting caught a lot and make a lot of mistakes. 6.5 deaths is a lot. You want to bring it down to at least 4 because that actually means that you're just making too many mistakes. This is not good. So now with the amount of the ranked games being explained, as well as all of the champions and the CS per minute, as well as the KDA, there's one more important thing that we have to talk about, which is the kill participation. So there is one thing which is really bad for the top lane, and that is the fact that the top lane is really far away from the mid lane, the bottom, and all of the objectives. This is the reason why the kill participation for the top laners, especially for the top laners like Riven and Fiora and all of the split pushers, is not really that high. The only way for us, the top laners, is to actually push out the lane and actually roam around or use your teleport to help somewhere else. And that is the only way to help your teammates. But that does not actually mean that you have to ignore your team and stay in the top lane only. You still want to be able to get very good kill participation, and the only way to do that is by helping your teammates as much as you can in order to get them ahead. You also want to be using your TP not only to TP back into lane, but you want to be able to roam around with the TP a lot, because teleport is one of the most effective ways for you to roam around. You don't want to be wasting your teleport too much. So the best skill participation for you to have in the top lane as a Riven player is to have somewhere around 40 to maybe 50 or higher percent. The kill participation of this guy lies around 40 to 60%, which is very good. As you guys can see, in this game he had about 58%, in this game he had about 47, and then he had 60. This is very good. This actually means that this guy is actually trying to help out his teammates a lot, and he's actually trying to join the team fights and all of that stuff. In other words, this guy is actually willing to cooperate with the team. Anyway, this does not mean that you have to quit split pushing forever. It's still very important to keep split pushing, but the thing is that you gotta make a decision on when you should start split pushing and when you should help out your teammates instead. So the last thing I want to be talking about is the actual setup that you are going for in your game. So let's say that you are going through your stats and you are seeing all of your games and you had a really hard and difficult matchup. There's actually many things that you can do. For example, this guy had a very hard time with the Riven against Teemo matchup. So let's actually go and take a look with the setup that he went for, because to me, I can already see that this guy's making a huge mistake. He's actually going for domination when you should never take domination against Teemo. So, going over to the builds, this guy is starting off with Dorn Shield, which is really good. You want to make sure that you start with Dorn Shield when playing against a Teemo. But the one thing that very annoys me is that this guy is actually going for domination with Taste of Blood and Ravenous Hunter. If you play the Riven against Teemo matchup, you always want to make sure that you go into the resolve tree and you want to be able to take the Shield Bash with the second wind. In the Teemo matchup, you want to make sure that you get as much sustain as you can, because the domination tree is not going to help you out at all. In fact, this is only going to help you out for the all-ins, but if you're trying to farm and he's poking you, you're better off just taking the resolve tree instead. So you don't just want to be taking a look at the stats here on the side, but you also want to be taking a look at the kill participation, and you also want to be taking a look at the runes and the setup that you are going for, because sometimes you're having a really hard laning phase and you completely forget about the build that you are going for. Always try and go back to the games that you have lost in the past and try and see if you can make a change to your build and stuff so you can make your lane a lot easier. Anyway, this was a very different video. I hope I could help out some of you guys out there. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to see high elo Riven gameplay, make sure you check out my stream. If you want to be in a very friendly Discord community, then don't forget to join my Discord server. And I guess I'll see you guys in my next video, man. Peace.